愛さん、
はい。
趣味は何ですか？
旅行と映画を見るのが好きです。
どんな映画好きですか？コメディ。
コメディとドラマが好きです。ジェフリー
うん、
さんは？
ホラー好
う
きです。
いいですね。おすすめの映画は何ですか？
おすすめは The Conjuring。
Feel like learning Japanese is too damn hard for you? Stop slaving away at grammar, words, and spelling. Now there's a better way to learn how to speak Japanese like a normal guy. Welcome to Terumi's podcast. Let's learn Japanese in just 2 months with Terumi's learning method.
Hi, Jeffrey. How are you? How's it going? 元気ですか？
Good, how are you? 元気です。元気ですか？
はい。はい、元気です。So thank you so much for joining this YouTube channel, first of all. And then the listener doesn't know you about all. So that's why, could you tell me like who are you?
My name is
うん
Jeffrey. Texas Shushin desu. Austin no Chikaku. I'm from Texas near Austin, and I'm in the military.
うん
So
ふ
I'm
ん
out here in Japan, um, in Okinawa.
うんふん
Got
うんふん
stationed here around March of last year
う
of
んふん
2022. Yeah, I do Hatsudenki no maintenance.
素晴
That's
らしい。
generator maintenance. Yeah. So
Amazing. So almost you are living in Japan a year, right?
yeah, it'll be
For
a
a
year
year.
in 4 days. Yeah.
Wow. Did you know about Japan before coming to Japan?
I didn't know a whole lot about Japan really. I know a lot of Americans are into anime. I never really was.
Mm,
So yeah, I was excited, a little bit nervous, but yeah, it's been a great time so far.
amazing.
So
So Japan
yeah.
is your first foreign country. So far, so good. Like, what do you think? Like, when you arrived to Japan, what was actually the biggest like impact on you?
Um, it certainly took a little bit of getting used to when I got to Japan. Like driving on the right hand side of the vehicle and whatnot, and the weather is actually really nice
Mm.
when it's not summertime, but
Mm-hmm,
during the
mm-hmm.
summer it's really hot here.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And then, like, you actually arrived in Japan in March and you started working in the military base, and then you actually signed up our master course was kind of August, which is summer. So, kind of, you quickly actually felt like you should learn language, which is great. What
well, I
makes you to
certainly
learn Japanese?
first off, I've always wanted to learn a language.
Mm,
And I'm living in a foreign country that doesn't use English. So, what better chance to learn a language and actually be able to use it? And I saw your ads, and I knew first off that private lessons would be much better for me personally
mm,
than any textbook or app, which I
mm,
was trying to use an app at first. But then I also liked learning conversation skills and phrases versus grammar and all the extra stuff that you really don't need if you just want to be able to communicate.
mm.
Um, so yeah, I saw those ads and I was like, this seems pretty perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
So,
yeah.
you mentioned that before our master course, you start learning with the textbook and using some language application. Can you tell me like what kind of material did you use before?
Well, I was I wouldn't say any textbooks. I do have like some book that one of my friends gave me, like, but I haven't opened that. I was using I was using an app to try and learn the alphabet. I thought that would
Mm,
be a good starting point,
mm.
but then I learned that the Japanese alphabet is much bigger than the English
Yeah.
um, alphabet, so I kind of gave up on that pretty quickly.
Mm,
I'll probably try and at least learn it while I'm here at some point,
mm,
but I was really happy to find, a way to learn just speaking because that's
mm-hmm,
really what I was interested in. So
So you actually started this master course was last year summer. How was actually this experience? And then I'm sure I was hearing from your coach that this you start meeting and talking with your girlfriend friends, more you can actually understand something. What
right.
was the experience?
Yeah, it was really fun to especially start like I had been watching a Japanese television show,
Oh.
and I of course I still need English subtitles. I'm not that good yet. But
Mm-hmm.
I was watching it after having done several of these lessons, and I was picking up on a lot of um, words that I recognized and understood. And especially, it was cool because I was hearing them kind of, I guess Japanese is unsurprisingly is similar to
Mm-hmm.
English in the sense sometimes you can shorten
Mm-hmm.
words for slang or whatever. And I was catching
Mm-hmm.
those. I was like, oh, they just shortened this word that I recognize, and
Mm-hmm.
that was pretty cool to see naturally, and how they were naturally speaking, and then just understanding kind of what they were
Mm-hmm.
saying.
Amazing. Can you tell me your favorite
Yeah,
phrases that so far you use often?
the simple phrases that you kind of like, "Otsukare sama desu."
Mm-hmm.
I say that to the locals sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I like, I really like itadakimasu.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I like, I like the sentiment behind that.
Mm-hmm.
And then what oishikata, like after,
Mm-hmm.
telling a restaurant employee like, oh, this was good.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if it's like a family-owned business, which there are a lot of around here. There are a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people that are running their own business. You can kind of tell.
Mm-hmm.
So, so I really like to tell them, yeah, the food was delicious.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. So like during the master course, you actually the final actually coach was I, right? And then
Yeah,
what
yeah.
kind of training you did it? Like your weak point or your strengths? I'm sure you trying. What kind of actual training mostly you focused on?
Yeah. Well, we certainly focused on conversational speech.
Mm-hmm.
That's mostly what I got out of this course,
Mm-hmm.
which is cool that you guys personalize things to each student. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just I learned some functional language,
Mm-hmm.
like asking where something is located, but a lot of it is conversational because I really wanted to be able to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah.
Amazing. So you when I met you, I remember you wanted to have more conversation with your girlfriend friends or something. And then after or maybe during the master course, like did you see any differences? And that it's you actually start understanding more or you actually did
Oh yeah,
something it's fun, which
for
is like
sure.
what was the best experience in the real life so far?
There was for sure times when I noticed big because I mean I came into knowing pretty much nothing, and
Mm.
then by the end of it I was able to hold a decent conversation. There, it was weird because sometimes I think when you're learning something new, there's always a little bit of frustration
Mm.
when you keep going, and like there were some nights with ice on that like sometimes I felt really good about the lesson, and then sometimes I felt like I couldn't remember any, like I kept having to ask her
Mm.
how do I say, and I would forget things that I already knew.
Mm.
But it's just you gotta push through that, and either way, I mean, yeah, I definitely am able to hold a decent conversation now. So
That's amazing. Yeah, of course. It's like I always say learning language, it's like playing basketball. You actually can play today, it's amazing. But like next day, maybe you lose the match and you feel like it's
oh yeah,
disgusting. So of
yeah,
course it's upside down. You today it's wow, I won the match and I really feel perfect. My next day, totally you feel like you cannot do anything and but
right,
it's
right,
on and off like you actually really just to continue and then when you see lots of experience after 100 matches or 200 matches, of course, you're going to become better than the person who never done anything, right? Yeah. So if you just keep going, and you're going to actually definitely be better. And then you
Yeah,
see
for
that
sure.
you are already much better than last year, this March, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. So just keep going.
Yeah, and I've got a lot of material to keep me going, and um, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's been a good experience.
Amazing. So what is actually your future plan for you? Like, are you gonna stay in Japan a little bit more? Can you stay in Japan, or what is your actual plan?
Um, I I wouldn't mind staying in like I do love it here, but I don't think I'll end up staying. Might come visit later in life.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm here with the military, so they move us around.
Mm-hmm.
I will be here until 2025 though, so I'll
Oh,
be here a
wow.
decent amount of time.
Mm-hmm. So
Yeah.
2025, it's almost you have 2 years. Like, what kind of things you want to experience these 2 years?
Yeah, so definitely want to go to mainland.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Have you ever been, by the way?
no, I've
Oh,
never
no,
been.
yet.
I've never been to
Okay.
mainland. So
Definitely, you should. Tokyo,
yeah,
Osaka, or a lot of places we have, you know.
yeah, I definitely plan to go up there. I'd love to go to Hokkaido. I
So
love,
snow.
yeah, as someone who lived in Texas my whole life, it's kind of weird that I love the cold so much. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I would love to go to Hokkaido.
Mm-hmm.
Then yeah, I also want to go to Thailand, and
Mm-hmm.
we're pretty close to New Zealand and Australia. I'd like to go maybe visit there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So right now I'm about to go spend a month back in the States. So,
Okay.
but once I get back, then I'll start using my leave, my time off to go
Mm-hmm.
travel around this
That's
area, this
amazing.
region.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. So you can actually show what did you learn in Japan. You know, you can actually show your Japanese language skill to your friends.
Right. All right.
Yeah. Amazing, amazing. So, what do you think? Lastly, I would like to hear your message to the people who never really learn Japanese, even they are living in Japan. Maybe they feel like, oh, that's gonna be too difficult. Like, do you have any message from you? Actually, you started learning Japanese so quickly, you know, when you just arrive and just keep going, you know. Do you have any message to them?
Yeah. I would say, first of all, if you're living in a foreign country that doesn't speak English, I think it's definitely worthwhile to try and learn at least how to speak the language, which is something I think people forget that you don't necessarily have to learn the alphabet of the country that you're if it's not the alphabet you're used to, which is something I kind of it seems like duh, but at the same time that is also I feel like a first step for many textbook classes and whatnot. So it's kind of ingrained, I think, that oh, I got to learn the alphabet. Not really. If your goal is just to be able to talk, then you don't need the alphabet. You just need to learn how to speak it. And thankfully, Japanese is a language that the words have already been kind of worked into the English alphabet, so they can be spelled very easily. And so if it's Japanese that you're trying to learn and you don't want to bother with the alphabet, which is what I did, then you can absolutely do so with just conversational learning.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Yeah, so this is definitely the first step. If you actually really be able to speak Japanese, then if you really want in the future, you can learn the alphabet like children, you know. All the children start speaking first. No one actually
Right.
start from alphabet, even they cannot speak anything.
Right. After 4 years of German and not being able to speak it, that was
Mm.
discouraging. I was like, maybe I just don't have what it takes to learn a language.
It was not actually true, right? It was just
Yeah.
the way you learned was not actually correct.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you can manage Japanese, then why not other European languages? It's much easier than
Oh, for sure.
Japanese.
Considering
Yeah.
they use the same alphabet, like that's already
Exactly.
step one.
Exactly. Exactly. You can do this. Are you expat? Live in Japan? You started living in Japan, you're super excited to communicate with locals. You can enjoy traveling, meeting people. And then you start using this textbook and you feel like, wow, that's so many. Elementary school textbook, another elementary school textbook, and how many hours should you study? Let's think one more time. In order to communicate like a normal guy, you can do everything in the basic everyday life. Should you finish all those textbooks? Otherwise, you won't understand what they're talking. You cannot express yourself, anything. First of all, there are always two ways to learn languages. One is documentational language, the other one is conversational language. It's like, once upon a time, grandmother and grandfather are living somewhere. Or, hey, what's up? How's it going? Which is conversational. What is the most effective way to learn how to speak Japanese? Textbooks can't talk to you, so you cannot improve your listening skill and pronunciation, how to communicate. So why Japanese children can speak Japanese so quickly? Because they are learning conversational Japanese. The good news is, in Japan Language Factory, we have a specific learning structure to improve your conversational Japanese. So you can join the conversation, you can understand what they're talking, you can respond quickly, and express what you are thinking. If you want to be able to speak Japanese as soon as possible, join our free consultation to figure out what is the fastest way to start speaking Japanese.